Hello, happy Friday. I hope your week has been going well. I wanted to hop on here really quickly to answer a couple questions that I've been getting for about the last week and a half now. I was expecting to get a lot of questions on public charge. I've actually been getting a lot of questions on the asylum process. So even though I had already planned on discussing a different topic today, I'm actually going to take a little bit of time and just go over the asylum application process with you, just because, like I said, I have been receiving so many calls and messages over the last week and a half about the asylum process. For those of you who are new, my name is Bianca Jordan. I am an immigration attorney in Massachusetts, but I help immigrants all over the world come to the United States to live and work. If you have any questions about this video, or if you'd like to discuss your immigration case, you can call my office at 508-942-7497 to book a consultation. And for those of you who are not in the United States, you can give me a call on WhatsApp, or you can send me a message. So today's video, like I said, will be on the asylum process. I have been receiving so many calls about asylum. How do you apply? What's the process look like? Can I apply? So very briefly, in order to apply for asylum, actually, I'll take it back a little bit for those of you who don't know what asylum is. So asylum is an immigration benefit that is given to people who are fleeing persecution from their home country on account of race, their nationality, their religion, their political opinion, or their membership in a particular social group. So if you are being persecuted or discriminated against by, the government in your country on account of your religion, for example, maybe you are Muslim in a country that is primarily Catholic, and so you are experiencing persecution on account of that. Maybe you are part of a political group that is in opposition of the main party in your country, or maybe you are, your nationality is rare in the country that you live in, and people of that nationality are being persecuted on account of that. Or maybe, for example, you are gay or lesbian, and in your country that is, not okay, and they persecute you on account of your sexual orientation. These are just a few reasons that might enable you to obtain asylum status in the United States. So in order to apply for asylum, you first must prove that you are in fact a refugee, that you are in fact fleeing your home country on account of your race, your nationality, your membership in a particular social group, your religion, or your political opinion. And the asylum application process in the United States has definitely changed over the years. But one of the main things about applying for asylum is that you have to apply for asylum within the United States. So when you come to the United States, you have 1 year from the time that you enter the United States to apply for asylum. You have to file Form 589 with USCIS, and you would apply for asylum within 1 year. There are some exceptions to that 1 year filing rule, but for the purposes of keeping this video as simple as possible, let's just say you have to apply for asylum within 1 year. And it's very important that you work with an immigration attorney to file your asylum application, not someone who is just filing the application for you and then, just filling out the forms, doing the data entry, and sending you off. And here's why. Back in the day, I'll just briefly explain the difference between the old asylum process and what it looks like today. Years ago, it was very possible to just fill out the forms without much of anything, without much proof of your persecution and anything happening to you, and just file the paperwork, and it would kind of get stuck in the system. Asylum applications, the interview process can take a really long time. It was taking sometimes years for people to get an interview. And so people would apply for asylum, and then their applications would just stay in the system for years. But in the meantime, once your application has been pending for 180 days, you're able to get a work card. So at least those people could at least still work and make money while they're waiting for an interview and a decision on their asylum case. This administration, however, a few years ago changed that process. So now when you apply for asylum, you get an interview within, in some cases a couple weeks, about a month or so, you will get an interview for your asylum application. If the immigration officer believes that your asylum application is valid, if they believe that what you're saying in this application is in fact true and that they believe that you do have a real genuine asylum claim, then your application gets to continue on in the process. And then after your application has been pending for 180 days, then you're able to apply for a work card so that you can legally work in this country. If, however, your application is preliminarily denied, and what I mean by that is if you go to your interview and the officer does not think that this is a real asylum claim, or maybe there are some inconsistencies in your answers or inconsistencies between what is written in the application and the answers to your questions at the interview, then they can deny your application and send you to removal proceedings, or they can refer your application to removal proceedings, which are also known as deportation proceedings, and have you make your case in front of an immigration judge, which if all goes well and you're able to save your application and get asylum, then you won't be deported. But if you're not, then you will. And so this is also why it's super important to work with an immigration attorney when you're completing your asylum application, because asylum law has changed so much over the years. And because the process is a little bit sped up now, where you're no longer waiting years before you go in for your interview, it's literally, a couple months, you have your interview, and that could make the difference between, getting sent to removal proceedings faster. It's definitely important that you work with an immigration attorney. You essentially, in a way, get one bite at the apple. It used to be where somebody who wasn't an attorney could fill out the form for you, and because the application process would take so long, it would give you some time to find an attorney who could really beef up your application and make your case for you. But we really don't have that luxury anymore because of the way that the asylum application process is nowadays. So when you're applying for asylum, you really want to make sure that you've put everything in your application, that you have all of your documents, all of your affidavits, all of your evidence of the persecution that you have faced or that you fear you'll face if you have to go back to your home country, so that you really want to make your case. Lately, I have been speaking with a lot of people who have gone to non-attorneys for their asylum applications, and their applications were denied, and now they're in deportation proceedings without an attorney's assistance. And it's a very scary situation to be in a deportation without an attorney. And that unfortunately happens a lot with asylum cases, because people still think that you can apply for asylum just to get a work card and live happily ever after. And unfortunately, that's just not the way that it happens anymore. And so you really want to make sure that if you do have a valid asylum claim, that you have all the documentation to support that asylum application. You want to make sure that you're not lying on your asylum application, and you really want to work with an immigration attorney that can help you. If you can't afford a private immigration attorney to do your asylum application for you or to handle your asylum case for you, there are a whole bunch of pro bono attorneys. You can also, you can look up the immigration court where you live, and there usually is a list of pro bono organizations that will handle your case without charging you. There are a variety of organizations with immigration attorneys that they don't charge the clients for the work. So definitely try to reach out to one of those reputable organizations with actual immigration attorneys. Please don't just try to do your application yourself or have somebody who is not an immigration attorney do your application for you. Asylum law, especially nowadays, is very complicated. Immigration is no longer as easy and friendly as it used to be, and it's really dangerous to work with people that aren't immigration attorneys on your case, especially if you really do have a valid asylum claim. So if you have any questions about asylum, this video was meant to be super quick. I didn't want to really go into the ins and outs of, what qualifies as persecution, what qualifies as a particular social group. I really didn't want to go into all of that with asylum. I really just wanted to provide a very brief overview of what the asylum process looks like and, things to be aware of. But if you have any questions about asylum, feel free to drop them in the comments of this video. And again, if you'd like to sit down and have a consultation to discuss your own immigration case, you can call my office at 508-942-7497, or you can visit brazenlegal.com/contact. Thanks for watching.